What would you describe as your biggest hope for America?
My biggest hope for America is that we really will be a country that cares about our neighbors again, that really puts people over policy, that we live into our founders' vision. I tell people all the time, I'm the daughter of a civil rights activist who told us that the country was our responsibility to take care of, and that we become a country that we can disagree agreeably, and really at the end of the day know we're all Americans. We all matter. We all matter to each other.
Tell me a little bit about, so you grew up basically in the civil rights movement, is that right? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? I'm fascinated by that.
Absolutely. I had a mother who was a part of the civil rights movement. She was an activist, and she instilled in my brothers and I a deep desire to give back to our country. She would say to us, don't get comfortable. Everything you have has been fought for. Don't you dare take your country for granted. Get involved, give back. It is that John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you. That was every day in my childhood growing up. And I was told as a young black girl that black people couldn't be president. And my mother told me that was nonsense.
Oh.
And so to keep pushing forward. And so that's what it meant to be brought up in a country where you believe in it and love it, even when it's hard, even when it's tough. And I would postulate we've come through a tough time the last few years, but I think hope is on the horizon.
Wonderful. So, you mentioned your hope for America earlier. Tell me about what you see as the role of bipartisanship in that.
Absolutely. And being from Kansas, we are in the minority as Democrats. We have to work with Republicans. And what I say as the chair, Republicans are not our enemies. They are our neighbors, and they are our opponents. Sometimes we oppose each other on issues, but we go to football games and little league basketball and baseball games together. We go to church together. We go to mosque and synagogue together. So what we have to be is bipartisan to move our country forward, to move Kansas forward. And we do that in Kansas very well.
What role do you see for yourself in the future of the Democratic Party?
Well, as my mom would say, it is my responsibility to give back to the political discourse. So right now I'm the chair of the party, but the next opportunity I have to run for office, I was actually the first ever black woman to be nominated in Kansas history to be the Secretary of State in the 2020 cycle. So I didn't prevail, but I am now leading the party, and I will continue to run.
That's wonderful. I do actually have another question. I've heard, I'm very interested in bipartisanship. I think I was giving you that hint. I've heard that there's a lot more of it at the state level than there is at the federal level. And I've heard that from all sorts of lawmakers. You could just comment on that.
I absolutely can. And I think you see more bipartisanship at the state level because we really are neighbors. We don't come from all over the country, we just come from all over the state. And many of us come from the same city or neighboring neighborhoods. And so we know that the things we do impact us, our neighbors, our friends immediately. And we can't be in a state where we're divided. The whole "a house divided against itself can't stand" is more true on the local level. Unfortunately, it is true on the national level, and yet we continue to unlearn that lesson, and I think to the detriment of all of us.